Young Esco, welcome to Cypher.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me, man. I'm really interested. I'm definitely interested today to talk about your musical style and how it's changed over the years for you, because you've got a lot of different styles going on in your music that I've heard. So I'm excited about that. On this show, I don't do any introductions. I let the conversation tell the story. So I've got to get right into it. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I want to learn a little bit about where you're from. What part of New York are you from? Tell me a little bit about how you got into hip hop at first, and maybe your musical kind of upbringing.
I'm from Queensbridge.
Yeah.
A few artists is from there, Mobb Deep, Nas.
Small names that no one's heard of.
Yeah. So I started doing music like when I went to high school. We had like our own little club and stuff like that. So I started writing music during lunchtime, and then I ended up performing for my school.
Hell yeah. That's kind of how you got into it. What was some of the first hip hop songs or artists or albums that you listened to?
I listened to a lot of Dave East, Karma.
I love Davies. He's one of my guys that I got into like a few years ago, and I was like, man, I wish I had found him earlier, because he's really, really lyrical. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about his style you think you like so much?
I just feel like he just speaks the truth in any way, form, like storytelling, anything like that. So like he just speaks positivity to like people who like may not have that in their life.
Yeah. Davies. Who else you got?
Dave East, Nas, people like that,
Yeah. You like the lyrical form of hip hop, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think that's definitely part of your brand? When I was listening to your music, I guess one of the things that I have kind of wondered was, were you always in that lyrical realm, or have you tried to branch out and try other things, like, oh, this didn't work for me, or that did work for me, or has it always been, this is who I know I am?
It always been like that.
Yeah, always. Do you have when did you kind of find out all right, like a lot of rappers have different lyrical styles, right? Like J. Cole, super about the wordplay. How many words can I fit into this? He's very flowy, whereas Nas is a little bit more of a storyteller or something like that. How do you kind of describe your lyrical style?
I feel like I'm kind of both.
Yeah.
I could describe my way, like, the way I write is both. Like, I could be in a day where I just wake up and I want to do storytelling, or another feeling where I just want to just go off the head. You feel me? It's like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you freestyle a lot? Talking about going off the
top. Yeah, I freestyle a lot.
Yeah, you do? Hell yeah. Next time you get in here, we'll have to do a freestyle.
Definitely.
Sure. Absolutely. Man, it's interesting. I think kind of the New York kind of hip hop style is lyrical. Do you kind of agree with that, or do you think that there's a lot of artists that maybe aren't so lyrical from New York as well?
I feel like some people have their strengths, some people have their weaknesses.
Do you think, maybe take a little bit of a look inward? This might be a tough question. What are some of your weaknesses, maybe?
Sometimes I write my stuff. That could be my weakness. I don't really go in the stool and just like freestyle. I just write, so that could be something I got to work on.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. I had this question: who are some of your favorite rappers right now? But I think maybe you kind of answered that already with the Nas and the, talking about Dave East and some of these other guys. But what about collaborations? Is there anyone that you feel like you really, really want to work with that is on your list?
To be honest, not really.
Really? That's the first time. All right, maybe we dive into that. Maybe that's the first time I've asked that question and never gotten that answer, because everybody kind of has maybe a name or two in mind.
Nah, because you just never know. I could be in the studio one time. I could be in the studio one day with somebody different, a whole different sound. Like, I might want to start working on their type of vibe. Yeah. Like, sometimes people make music that's like for their city. Like, I'm not from Jersey, but I started working with Jersey artists.
Yeah.
So like, I may do that. Like, I don't really think in my head like when I'm gonna do a song with this person, that person.
Yeah. Do you think the Jersey style is slightly different from the New York style, or do you think they're kind of one and the same?
I think it's different.
Really? How so?
Because like their music is more like they dance to it. It's more fluent. So they kind of started that, but it's kind of like in their own tempo. They got a more stronger tempo than us. Like, it's more bass into it. It's more faster.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you I was gonna ask, do you prefer the New York or the Jersey style? Do you like moving to the music more, or do you want it to kind of like, make you think more?
Nah, like, I could do both.
Yeah.
Really,
do you like it either way?
Yeah, I like both.
Fair enough. So, I Googled you. That was kind of one of the first things I did when we decided we were going to do an interview.
Yeah.
And something stood out to me right away, right when I Googled you. And that's that you have an artist page on Google, and it pops up as like Young Esco, It's got your music in the sidebar. It's got your links and everything. That's interesting because not a lot of artists that are coming up know how to do that. You know what I mean? That's mostly for like the bigger artists. I want you to tell how you did that because I think there's a lot of artists that could gain that valuable knowledge.
You just gotta work. Like you gotta write all the time, be consistent in the studio, give out a lot of video content, and then like normally like Google just gonna absorb all that. Like they're gonna get your links and put it with this and that. Like so if you search on my name, it'll pop up on Google, photos, all that, because I have a lot of content.
Absolutely. Did you have to like do anything specific with Google to request that page, or did they build it for you?
Nah, they kind of built it for me.
They built it for you. Fantastic. So that's just like Google recognizing that game that you were putting out, all that content, all that material, and they were like, all right, this guy's doing something that's consistent. We got to build something for him. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that because I always kind of thought, to be totally truthful, I always kind of thought you had to go through Google to set that up. But that's interesting that they kind of set it up for you. Do they give you options for that? Like, did they say, hey, we're setting up a page for you, or does it kind of just happen organically and they're all of a sudden they built it for you?
So I joined DistroKid, so that's kind of like a way Google for me. So they kind of interact with each other.
Is that how you put all the music out?
Yeah.
Facts. You like it?
Yeah.
DistroKid, because there's CD Baby, there's all these other ones. Mm-hmm. You know, DistroKid's good. That's crazy. So, you know, talking a little bit about that, like getting the name out there, being consistent, how do you like to market yourself? Because I noticed on your Instagram page when I was kind of looking you up and stuff, it's only 3 photos, but it's very intentional. You know what I mean? You have a very, I don't want to use like the word concise, but you have a very kind of intentional or almost like mysterious-esque brand, right? In that like you're working a lot. People know that you're working, posting on a story, you know, putting out music videos. I saw the vlog you just put out. And so how do you kind of maintain the whole I'm working a lot, but like, you know, still sharing what I'm doing and getting the word out about stuff?
All right, so like me, I learned over this pandemic, like you gotta have patience. So like the way I would do it, I'll probably put a snippet out and throw it up for like a few days and then let them like get into it and then take it off.
Really?
But then I'm gonna drop it later on. Yeah. But you still remember the snippets I put out.
Interesting.
So kind of that's what I do sometimes.
Yeah. So where did you kind of learn that from? Is that something that you learned just by like being in this game for quite a while that works for you, or did you see that from someone else?
Nah, like recently, like the pandemic just teach you a lot. Like it teach you how to interact more.
That's crazy because I think that's a different kind of strategy than I see a lot. Right? You see everybody posting and leave it up there forever kind of thing. You know what I mean? But you take it down, so it's kind of like, is that kind of a way to like continually shape your brand? Is that kind of part of the goal behind it?
Yeah, like cause like when I post stuff, it'll be posted on my page, but I'll let you know like the link is in my bio and stuff like that.
Right.
So like when you go on the central page, I got like different pages I have like when my music going to what you said, Spotify and stuff like that, like it will be there in the link. So like all that videos and stuff is still uploaded.
It's all there, yeah. I love your YouTube page. That was one of the things that I spent the most time on because you got some great music videos with some good visuals and things like that. But what I really love was that vlog that you posted lately because I think that's what some of these fans want. And I've kind of been having this internal argument in my head where it's like, all right, do we keep it more and more? Do we get more exclusive to try to like, you know, build more of a cult following, or do we give more of an inside look into the artist's life? So I've kind of always been struggling with that, kind of like struggling, you know, that like question in my head or whatever. I love the vlog that you did though because it gave just the right amount of snippets of different songs you were working on to kind of get a vibe for what you're doing, but also at the same time it was like it left me wanting more. So talk a little bit about how that idea came for the vlog and then like how you kind of put it together and how you chose the snippets for it. That's a loaded question.
yeah. Like you said, like it's kind of is like that, like a Coke type of feeling. Coke, cause like you're gonna get into my music by listening to those snippets. You don't know which one you're gonna feel the most until you understand it. Like, but at least you got those few seconds of it.
Yeah.
So when I drop it, then you're gonna be like, all right, I'm jacking it.
Right.
But I don't want to give out too much right now because I'm still trying to develop a new sound for myself and stuff like that.
Absolutely, new sound for sure. I have questions about that when we start talking about. Your album, which is I Don't Feel None. We're going to get into that in a minute. But I think it's interesting, you know, in terms of other types of marketing, other than like kind of like the Instagrams and stuff, you know, on YouTube, you have a lot of content on YouTube. One of the things you do really well is you reach out to a bunch of other artists and you work with other artists well. Talk a little bit about how you build some of those relationships up.
Oh, I got a lot of relationships. I'm not gonna lie.
You're working with a lot of people.
Yeah. Because I just like seeing people grow, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I dropped an EP with Smurf Dollars called Underrated. I dropped Sessions with King Rover on it. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I Don't Feel Nothing EP, when that came out, the song I have on it called Too Much,
Yep.
that song I've been had, right?
Yeah.
But that artist, I've been wanting to work with him, and I finally got him on, and he's from the X, and we just been locked in ever since. So, like, it's just been different relationships I've been finding and just, like, building with people and just been growing and listening to new sounds and stuff.
That's TCG Lou, right? Who you did the music video with?
Oh, no. I was talking about Mal Finesse on the album.
Got you.
But, yeah, the video,
See, there's so much content, I got to get it straight in my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how much you're putting out. But I like that video you did with TCG Lou. I got a question about it later, but do you think that, like, you know, with the rise of YouTube and social media, like, obviously it's easier to do that kind of thing, but talk about the importance, because I don't, you know, sometimes I interview artists who do features now and then, they do different things, but you do such a multitude of them that it's like, all right, this is a way to market yourself by just getting on different songs with different people. So you feel like that's probably one of the best ways that you've been able to start to build your fan base?
Yeah, that's a good way to build it, because, like, some people don't know me, so, like, you gotta grow and put yourself out there on other people's pages.
Absolutely. You know, listening to your music, and I'm kind of new to, like, the drill grime kind of category of hip hop. Do you put yourself in that category? I'm curious.
To be honest, not really. I wouldn't say that, because I have so many other different sounds. Like, I'd be, like, having other type of music that, like, it'd be like that.
Yeah, this is why I asked that, because when I first listened to some of your older stuff, I definitely get the drill kind of more grimy type vibe, you know, with the drums and things like that. But then I listened to I Don't Feel None, and I don't get that vibe. You know what I mean? I get a totally, like, Sessions is like that's probably my favorite song of yours.
You feel me?
I get a totally different vibe, and so that's why I kind of ask, like, you know, it's so intentional that you're kind of changing your sound. You like being dynamic. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's important, because, like, some people don't like listening to drill. A girl's not gonna just go in the car and just put on drill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's gonna listen to their music at their own time. Whether you're in the gym, maybe you put on drill. But if you're home, waking up in the morning, you're gonna put on I Don't Feel Nothing, because you want to be chilling.
Absolutely.
For
those that don't know, and I'm kind of new to this, so I was learning about it as I was kind of researching your artistry. Talk about the difference, or talk about what defines drill or grime music.
Drill could be different things at this point, because we don't have so many different drills. Like, we like you could say drill music could be non-mainstream and mainstream. Like, you seen with Drake and Fabio, that's mainstream. City of God's mainstream. You feel me? So it's all about making a non-mainstream into the mainstream.
What about some underground drill artists? Because, like, something that I'm trying to do is kind of get into it more. So let's say that, like, you know, there's some new drill and grime listeners out there. Talk about kind of who your starter pack would be, or who some starter artists would be that you would recommend to listen to for that style of music.
Myself.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Myself. Yeah,
that's
myself.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Name 3 more. I want to play ball.
Oh man, like, to be honest, from my neighborhood, I could say that's a drill artist. Jay Rose, King Rover, Ketty Stacking, Shawnee Bin Laden, who's from Queens. So, like, you heard of him before?
I think I heard of King Rover, actually.
You did?
I've heard of King Rover. I don't know if I've heard of who was the last guy?
Shawnee Bin Laden.
I don't think so. Is he popular?
Yeah, he's popular. Queens, yeah.
I'll look him up after this. I really will. Because part of the reason I love doing these interviews is because I always get put on a new artist that I've never heard about.
Yeah.
What I mean? But I think I've heard of King Rover before. I think I've seen him on Instagram on some of these pages I follow. You know, I think he pops off a little bit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I definitely think, you know, like, from like a from a sonic perspective though, right? Like, you know, talk a little bit about what exactly makes that drill sound, because it's got kind of a unique sound. It's got that drum beat that's kind of unique. Can you kind of describe that a little bit?
What makes drill? Like, you mean the instrumentals of it? I would say, like, it just be like the hype to it, the tempo to it. It's faster than other beats.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and then what you normally would hear on the radio. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Absolutely, it's kind of got that unique. It's kind of got that unique snare sound to it too, or not snare, like hi-hat sound to it too. That I have a hard time describing. You know it when you hear it, you know, but I can't like you know, beatbox or anything, so it's impossible for me to do it. You know what I mean? Because if I tried to beatbox, then nobody would ever watch this interview. But let's move on. So, like, kind of getting away from that drill, like what you were saying, being dynamic, right? I Don't Feel None. First of all, how come you call the album that?
Cause, like, if you listen to the whole thing, it's like, why is he speaking about these certain things? Like, what is going through his head? Like, and that's what I feel. I don't really feel nothing, cause I'm just writing my story out. but it's like it's so many different emotions. It's like, can you really sit down and feel these emotions at that time? You really can't, because you know, on some of the tracks, I'm going through different emotions. Like on Too Much, I'm kind of just talking about myself and how I reflect on my family and stuff like that, and what I'm going through and stuff like that. Right. And then Morning is more like how I feel about a girl and stuff. Absolutely. So maybe I'm talking about that. Like, so just I don't feel nothing, because it's just like it's just different chapters. It's like I'm just going through it.
It's kind of crazy too, because on the album there is a lot of feeling, though. You know what I mean? Like there is a lot of that feeling, and when I listen to songs like Sessions, I listen to Streets Want Me. I'm like, oh man, like I don't feel none. Like, yeah, but also like I do kind of feel a lot from it. You know what I mean? Like the vibe from it. Like I'm getting a lot. Like Sessions is a very introspective song. You open up with it. That's my favorite. Like I was saying earlier. Talk about how you kind of wrote that song and kind of what was going through your mind as you were writing those lyrics.
I just wanted to paint a picture in your head. Like, if you want to know me from a hole in the wall, just wanted to paint a picture in your head about my life and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, you feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. What was Streets Want Me? That's probably my second favorite. And then I also have to ask you about Imagine as well. That's a little bit more. I would say that's maybe the like grimiest song on the album, maybe, but not even so much, like just relative to the other ones. Yeah. Were you trying to get back a little bit of that old style, or were you like completely still in the other direction and just kind of ended up like that?
Nah. It's just like Streets Want Me. You could say that. It's kind of grimy. You could say that, but
just relative to the other, like relative to Sessions, it is, right?
Yeah. Because I know what you're saying. Like, cause Sessions is kind of more like just like it's not so much of like grime in it. It's just more like I'm just telling you just like the other perspective of things, not so much of grime. So then Streets Want Me is kind of like, okay, maybe I kind of am getting into grime now, but not so much, because I already have the drill. I want to separate it.
It's crazy how you can make two songs that sound so different, but you can put them on the same project together and they can help tell the same kind of story, like what you were talking about. Was that kind of an intentional goal? Like, I know these songs sound so different, but I can still put them together?
Yeah, that was my goal. Yeah, absolutely. To put it like that.
So, like, talking about that a little more, how do you pick beats? Some rappers, like, they'll listen to a beat and automatically they have to write to it. Some rappers will hear a beat and then they got to hear it a bunch of times, but then over a long time period, they're like, okay, I think I can write to this. How do you like to do it?
I feel like once you hear a beat that you like, make sure you understand it. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, don't rush on it. Don't rush it. Listen to it a couple times. Leave it alone. Come back later on, a day or two. Just come right back to it. If you still have the same feeling you felt the first time, then that's the one.
Reflect on it.
Yeah.
Reflect on it. That reflection can almost kind of like act as like a precursor to the writing period, right? Mm-hmm. You can kind of get into your own head about it. When you're writing a song, you know, you can edit a song forever, right? Like you can always change something, you can always make it better. When you're writing a song, let's take Imagine for example. That's the last song on the project. It kind of sums up the album nicely, in my opinion. You know, you talk about some different things on there. How did you know? Okay, this song is done. This song is ready. You know, like this song is ready to record.
Imagine, I just knew it was ready because like it just had a vibe to it, like, you know.
Yeah.
That was my first records that I even wrote on that EP.
Really?
Yeah.
We can listen to it for a minute?
Yeah, if you want.
Put the headphones on?
Yeah.
Here we go. I just want to get your perspective on it, right? This is Imagine, track 6. Where are we going? Hold on one second. Pull this up. Oh, man, for some reason it's not working. Well, some technical difficulties. I'll figure it out in a sec. But while I'm figuring that out, talk a little bit about Morning, because that song is definitely maybe about a woman, right? Or it's got some kind of vibe like that. Talk a little bit about, you know, I don't get that vibe from any of the other songs on the album. So what made you kind of want to toss that song into the mix?
Because you know what? Like, I have so many different audiences that I have to cater to. I can't keep doing the grime and stuff like that. I have females listening to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you learn that? How did you figure that out? Spotify stats, Instagram stats? Like, how do you figure out who's listening to your music?
I feel like overall girls like music more than men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, they have maybe a little bit more of a maybe a specific taste, right? Or they have something more in mind that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to get this song popping. Let's see. Well, here we go. All right. The beat's different. I like the piano in this.
Yeah.
I might let this run for a second. Who produced this?
Otello Beats.
That's just how it is where I'm from. Make it real where I'm from. In the field where I'm from. Niggas getting killed where I'm from. For them dollar bills where I'm from. Niggas still where I'm from. Niggas taking life where I'm from. Niggas out all night where I'm from. Shooting dice where I'm from. Niggas ain't right where I'm from. Make the wrong move, that could be a life where I'm from. Free my brothers out the can, I swear I miss them more. My loyalty with my niggas, I swear I miss them more.
Telling stories about
I
your
can't
life,
believe all the
you know?
situation we
That's kind
came
of what this whole
across.
project has about it. I might let it play in the background just a little bit while we're talking, but like, that's definitely kind of the vibe that I get on this project. Was this supposed to be a reflective project? Did you talk to yourself? You said Imagine was the first song that you kind of recorded. So did you record this and go, okay, I'm going to talk about a lot on this project?
Yeah, that's a fact. I knew I had to touch different point of views of myself, you know, because I feel like this one had to be totally different from Sessions. So I had to do that, yeah.
Because you're kind of like, that's so interesting, right? Because on Sessions, you're kind of like, you're also reflective, but on this one, you're reflective in a different way. And I think the beat definitely changes that vibe a lot, right? Talk about how maybe when you were, you know, listening to Sessions and listening to Imagine, you were like, all right, this is how I'm going to differentiate both of these songs.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, like, because it's different tempos, different structures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just had to be different. It had to be different. It couldn't be the same song twice. It had to be a different flow, a different perspective. Right. Like, you know, Sessions is more like an old type of feeling, you know, because I had Nas on it, you know, so like I had that type of feeling.
Nas vocal sample in the beginning.
Yeah. So you feel me? I kind of gave that old feeling back.
You on Too Much, Mal Finesse is who you kind of collabed with. Talk about how you wanted to get them on the song and talk about how that collaboration happened.
So Mal Finesse, even before I started recording, like I said earlier, during high school and stuff like that, like I was listening to his music and I just like was fucking with it so hard because it's like he's speaking his truth in so many different ways. Like he'll probably go on a hip hop beat one day or storytelling for me. So I was just jacking that. Yeah. So like, you know, we just started working after that and. For me, we made that song, and that song was tough.
Absolutely, that's another good one. I mean, honestly, it was crazy. So, like, when you made this project, did you have like just 6 songs or 5 songs? Because there's the Heartless interlude. Did you have just these 6, and you're like, all right, these are the 6, or did you have a bunch that you ended up choosing from and you narrowed it down?
I have so much music, it's crazy. Like, I swear, I've been doing music for since I was in middle school, but I have so much music since like the freshman year of high school, like crazy, like a lot of music. So those songs was like my favorite 5, plus the 6.
So how long have you worked on? How long did this project take to make?
It took me like 2 months. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so that's actually like that's pretty quick. So this is your whole grind.
Like it took me 2 months to finish it.
Yeah.
Like to go back in the studio, fix this up. All but right. I had those songs and I just picked those 5.
What about it was like, all right, time to put a project out? Because you said it took 2 months to finish it, so you decided, all right, time to do something.
What about it made me want to do a project? I just felt like those songs was different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they just was different. Like Streets Want Me was just a different vibe, you know.
Absolutely. That's a good one too. I don't know. I enjoy it. Do you think, talk about maybe like, when was the last time you did a live show?
I did one recently, like
yeah.
I
gotta come out to one.
Yeah, I'm about to have one coming up new, like with what's the team called? Heartbreak Media. We about to have another concert.
Let me know.
And they're gonna do that. Yeah, definitely.
You're performing these songs?
I might not, because those songs are kind of like morning songs. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit, yeah. Little bit. But they got such a vibe to it. I don't know. Maybe the reason I like it is because they fit so well together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you were kind of saying, you have so much music, but like these songs seem to fit really well together. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the way that you put them together. You ever think about that? Like, I don't know, you say you have so much, you're probably sitting on a bunch of albums if you really wanted to, right? But like you got to be intentional about it. What was it like? Was it just the feeling you got from these? It was like, all right, I got to do this.
Yeah, it was just that feeling, like, you know. But like if I would perform, like something more lively, you know. Cause some people in the club, they might want to grab a drink to a more faster tempo song. You know what I'm
absolutely.
Saying? Like Streets Want Me, maybe. That could be something I could perform.
Misconceptions, that's another good project of yours, right? This one right here. Or no, Misconceptions, you're featured on it, From Nothing. That's one of the songs that you're featured on, which I really liked.
Oh, yes, yeah. $100, right?
Yeah, that's another good one. It popped right up. That's one of the more popular ones on your page and Apple Music. Talk about how that song kind of popped off a bit for you guys.
That song was wonderful, bro. Like that feeling of the song was better than any other song I made because it was something where it could be versatile. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not too grimy.
Yeah.
It's more like you could put it on the club and everybody would fuck with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be no like, oh, like tear the club up. No. Like, yeah.
Do you like to make that kind? Do you like to make club music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's where the money's at. Car music, club music.
Yeah, that, and if you can get your music in a movie or a video game.
Yo, oh my God, that's what I want so bad, bro.
Yeah. Talk about what you're going after. You know,
I want to be able to like put my feet into like what you said, movies, TV shows, cartoons, like you know, like being able to, whether I'm using my voice in so many different ways, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I would definitely love to make a movie type of song.
Yeah,
you know?
hell yeah. Do you have any ambitions outside of hip hop, or is it one track mind? Being okay, what is it?
You know, like I want to get into like a lot of things, like even managing people.
Hell yeah. That's where if you can find a couple artists that are really about to pop off, and you can just start a bit of a management team, you can make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
You know, be strategic about it too. It can be pretty lucrative actually. Going back to what I was saying earlier, I was getting it confused. Like I said, you got so much content, but I love that top 5 video that you did with TCG Lou, and you were kind of like at the house party kind of vibe or something like that, and it looked kind of crazy. Who thought of that idea for the music video? Was that both of you together?
Like that studio was just like, it wasn't even thought of. Like we just
show up?
like, yeah, we were just like, you know what, we got this hot beat right here. Let's just go in the studio, do the song, yeah.
Yeah, and then the video itself, you guys filmed it like right after or something like that.
Yeah, right after.
For real?
Yeah. I know. It was right after. It was lit though. It was so lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Organic. It just comes naturally, right?
Yeah, like
is that some of the best vibes for you?
Hell yeah, like that's the best because like you don't want to think about things too long.
How long does it take for you to write a verse?
To be honest, it could take an hour.
Really? You hear a good beat, you can go right from it?
Definitely.
I used to want to be an artist. I really did, and it took me forever to write songs. Like I could spend, like I heard an interview once with Lil Wayne that said he spent like 6 months on a verse once, and then he said one time he spent like 3 months on one line itself. You know, do you ever like talk about kind of the maybe dichotomy between like perfectionism and like, you know, quality over quantity and just getting out content? Do you kind of have an opinion on that? Do you go for quality or do you go for quantity? Because let me tell you,
both. You need a lot of music.
I don't feel none is quality. Those
are
5 quality songs. You know what I mean? But then you got a lot of other content too. Not saying that's not quality, but I definitely felt like you stepped up on that I Don't Feel None record. So you feel like maybe you're shifting a bit because you were putting out so much content, and then lately, you know, you haven't put out quite as much like projects in terms of music. It's been maybe a little more focused on the quality.
Like you said, like right now, I'm really in that mode right now, like taking 3 months to write a song.
Yeah.
Because like right now, I want to make something way better from I Don't Feel None, but still the same lane. You know what I'm saying?
It's a high bar.
Yeah.
That's a great project. I saved the whole thing to my library. I have it with me right here. You know, talk about maybe like what's coming next for you. You know, what you got on the docket, what fans can look forward to, things like that.
I got a music mixtape coming out, you know.
Yeah.
And then soon I'm gonna put out like a whole bunch of videos and stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully, you know, y'all just stay with me and just stay with my process.
Hell yeah. Talking a little bit about, you're an independent artist.
Yeah,
you're all independent. Talk a little bit about being an independent artist, and like, you know, do you have a team with you or do you do everything yourself?
Everything myself.
You do everything.
Yeah.
Talk about that importance, because I think a lot of artists, or at least when I was in school, so I studied music, and a lot of artists wanted to get a manager right away or whatever. Talk about like the importance of building yourself up. See, you're already going like this. Talk about the importance of building yourself up like that.
Because once you build yourself up, right, you build the foundation. The foundation is always gonna help you back in the future. Like right now, we're doing an interview. This is the foundation. Like later on in the future, it's gonna build into something more. Like it's gonna grow. So that's what the whole thing is. Like just gotta plant that seed, and you're gonna grow.
Absolutely. Well, look, I guess kind of getting towards the end here. Any final words for your fans, for the podcast, pieces of advice for the kids? What's up?
Make sure y'all tune into my last EP that I dropped called Underrated. And I have a lot of more music coming out, you know, mixtapes and all that stuff, a lot of videos. Make sure you follow me at every page on YouTube, Young Esco Central on Young Esco, and my SoundCloud Young Esco, my Apple Music Young Esco. That's all I have to say.
Young Esco, thank you so much for coming in today. I enjoyed this a lot.
Bro.
I love talking about dynamic music and dynamic artists and people that can kind of like speak to their craft in new ways, and I appreciate that from you. So we'll make all the links are in the bio. We'll make sure everybody can follow you. And until next time, Cypher Podcast, Young Esco out. Peace.